What if I told you this piece of armor was 3D printed in flexible filament and was filled, sanded, and painted using regular spray paints and still flexes? That's what we're going to find out in today's video. Hey everyone, Tommy here, and today I just want to say that this video has been sponsored by BJB Materials. I've been using their kits for some time now, and when they found out that I was using one of their products for this tutorial, they graciously offered to sponsor this video. Big thanks to BJB Materials for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out. So today we're going to talk about how you can achieve a flexible paint job on any of your cosplay armor pieces. It doesn't matter if they're 3D printed, it doesn't matter if they're urethane rubber, and it doesn't even matter if they're EVA foam. Now I painted everything that you see here using regular Duplicolor rattle can and one secret ingredient, and that secret ingredient is BJB Materials TC90. Now this is a super easy to use flexible two-part primer and top coat. Now this is mainly used for painting urethane rubber, which is basically like the hardest thing to paint in all of cosplay, but you can still use it for flexible filament and EVA foam. I'm not the first person to tackle a flexible cosplay paint tutorial. Both Frankly Built and Offer both have great videos on how to do this in different ways, so if you want to, you can check out their videos as well. Now I know you guys are probably running click away right now thinking, Tommy, you can only use it with an airbrush, it's probably too expensive, and both of those are wrong. This core kit only costs $95 and it lasts forever, and it's compatible with paintbrushes. You don't have to use just an airbrush with this. Guys, this stuff is seriously easy to use, and I can't wait to show you how to use it right now. So I'm here in my local makerspace just to have a little bit more room to show you guys the whole process. So this is basically a raw 3D print of an Iron Man hand topper. This is what we're going to use today. It's printed in flexible PLA. You can also do this process with TPU, but you can't really sand TPU. Now you can fill and sand it, which is going to be our next step, but for now we're going to use the flexible PLA. Now I know what you're thinking. Tommy, can you power sand flexible PLA? And the answer is, of course you can. Now for power sanding flexible PLA, I typically start with 220 grit, which is pretty high. Now I'll go ahead and just sand it like a regular 3D printed piece, and then I'll go in and hand sand it just to smooth it out even more. So for filling, you obviously can't use this spot glazing putty because it's going to crack the moment that piece is flexed. So the alternative is to use this stuff. This is Alex Flex. It's a flexible type of spackle, and I actually got this idea from Nico Industries. So basically we're going to apply this just like the spot putty, only that we're going to apply it across the entire piece, and then we're going to sand it again. Alright, now that's looking pretty smooth. Now before we can apply the TC90, I just want to get everything one solid color just to make sure that I filled in all those layer lines. So in order to do that, I'm going to use some of this Createx black airbrush paint. This is naturally flexible, so it's going to work perfect for this use case, and it's going to reveal any more layer lines that may need to be sanded down again. Alright, now that's looking pretty good. Now if you look closely, you can definitely still see some layer lines and some pitting going on here. So I definitely could go back in with the Alex Flex and refill it, then sand it and paint it again. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to worry about it. Everything else looks pretty okay to me, so we can move on to the next step. So now we can actually do the fun part and apply the TC90. We're going to do a primer coat and a sealer coat once we put the paint on it. Now applying and mixing this stuff should be super easy. This is basically a 1-to-1 mixture of part A and part B. So I'm just going to mix up 2 ounces of the stuff, and that should be more than enough for this application. So I'm going to be wearing gloves and also going to be wearing a respirator mask. Alright, now that's looking pretty good. Now all we need to do is just wait for this to dry overnight, and then we can apply our paint. Now that the spray paint is dry, all we need to do is just apply one more layer of the TC90 as the top coat, and then it should be ready and done. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial video. It was super fun to do, and special thanks again to BJB Materials for sponsoring this video. You guys rock. I'll leave links down in the description below to where you can buy TC90 and check out BJB's other awesome materials. Now I know that some of you will say, but Tommy, the paint is still cracking underneath all those layers. And to that I say,
Emotional damage.
With the TC90, the paint job is still more durable than it's ever been, and it still looks awesome. No one is really going to notice the micro cracks in between the layers, and you still have the added benefit of it being flexible. You're really not going to be able to get a finish similar to this with rattle can spray paints without it cracking a little bit in between the layers. But because the TC90 creates that airtight seal, it's still flexible and it won't crack and just peel away. I want to thank you guys once again for watching, and if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below.